Here are my favorite fiction books of all time, not just the year, not just the month, all time. This video is made for people who want to get into reading in 2025 or just people that are always on the lookout for recs. Let's get into it. Starting off strong with ACOTAR, A Court of Thorns and Roses. You've heard of it, you've seen it. Perfect for people who want to get into fantasy because I feel like what discourages people the most about fantasy is how complex it can get sometimes. But for this series, it's very easy to understand. Something unique about this series is that it has a very strong subplot of romance. Staying on the Sarah J Maas train, the Throne of Glass series. This is an 8-book series, so definitely more intense, a lot longer, and definitely a lot more complex. But I can say with my full chest that I don't think I'll ever read anything like this again. I've never been so attached to the characters and the plot and just the entire story. It had me viscerally reacting. The quotes from this book, if I read a quote to this day, like I get chills on my body. Next is The One by John Marrs. You basically submit your DNA and take a DNA test to find your soulmate, and it has the story of 5 people who did that and just each of their individual stories and what happened to them. It's so different than anything I've ever read. I wish there would be more books like this that's just kind of like a standalone where it literally feels like a Black Mirror episode. Next is the Mindfuck series. This one is more of a dark romance, criminal, mystery thriller. It's actually about a woman who's a serial killer and she dates a detective, so very juicy. People who listen to My Favorite Murder or those kind of murder podcasts, I feel like this is a good, fun read for you. Next is Daisy Jones and the Six, written in an interview style format. So it's about a band and the interviewer interviews each member of the band throughout the book. So it's really easy to get through. It's really fast paced. It's so much fun. This felt like I was watching a movie. Next is 50 Shades of Grey. Now I know that everyone knows what this is. I think that this needs to make a comeback, okay? Because no one talks about it enough. The banter, read the book, and then watch the movies after. So like read the first book, watch the first movie, read the second book, watch the second movie. I did that and it was really fun because I feel like the adaptations were very close to the book. So underrated nowadays. Next is The Inheritance Games. Now, I will say this isn't one of my favorite fiction books ever, but I did want to include it in this video for people who are trying to get into reading this year because it has short chapters, so it's really easy to get through. If you've watched Knives Out, it's very similar. The whole plot is about a girl and she gets the inheritance of someone that she has no idea who he is, and she has to move into his mansion where there are 4 other boys who wanted the inheritance. Next is Corrupt by Penelope Douglas. This is for those who want to get into very dark romance, or if you like dark romance and you haven't read this, why haven't you? And just know that it's very rated R, and that is all I'll say. And then my last honorable mention is Hidden Pictures. I wanted to mention this one because it had many horror recs in here. Something I enjoyed about this and made it really fun for me was that the little boy starts to draw these scary illustrations and it actually has the drawings in the book. And I just thought that was really cool and different.